Hello, my powerhouses. So it has been a minute since I recorded a podcast. And quite honestly, it's because I have felt like I have nothing to say and nothing to share and have just been in this complete creative rut. And I don't know if any of you guys ever go through that, but the last couple ones I recorded, I really felt like I was just scraping the bottom of the barrel. And that sucks because I want to make sure what I'm sharing here is good content and relevant and valuable if you are taking your precious time to listen to me talk. So I had to just take a minute and take a beat and really just give myself some grace and step away. And I tried to do all of the things to spark my creativity. And as soon as I tried to do that, I got sick. Of course, as luck would have it, right? New Year's Eve, I felt it coming on and I got home by 12:01 maybe. And I had already felt like absolute death. And this is now the 18th of January as I am recording this, and I am still not 100%, but I feel a bazillion times better than I did in the beginning of all of this. And for a solid week and a half, I could barely even talk. So we're doing good here. And that, of course, is not how you ever want to start a new year. And I was doing everything I could to just get the minimum done that I had to do every day. So now here I am. I'm finally recording a podcast. Have something to say, maybe we'll see. But it just feels like I'm trying to crawl out of this maintenance mode. So here we are. Life doesn't always pan out how you want it to. And so to get back at it, I figured, you know what? I don't really feel like doing this right now. I have a lot of other stuff to do, but let's just get it done. Get shit done, right? Knock it out. And for me, I have to just start before I can talk myself out of something because I know myself all too well. And I don't know if anybody can relate to that, but what I wanted to share today is just a quick little ditty on four things our successful clients have in common. I was thinking about this morning, actually, and what sparked it was I had a call last night with one of our amazing clients, and she is uber successful, but I also just love and adore her. She is super badass, and I was thinking, man, I would love more of her. And then I was in that vein of thinking that, who else is like her? And I thought immediately of a number of people that we work with, and they all have these 4 traits in common, which is also probably why it's so enjoyable to work with them. And so the first one of the 4 is that they just do, okay? So they are not people to just talk about doing something, but they take deliberate action and they do it quickly. There is a little procrastination. There's no debating about it. It is all execution. And they aren't constantly questioning themselves either, right? So I think, you've all been maybe in that position yourself, or you have a friend who is analysis paralysis, or they will be the person who says, oh, I should really do that, but then they never do it. But they complain about it and they never take action, and so much of success is execution. And it doesn't mean you're going to be successful every time you execute. However, your odds are certainly going to be a whole lot better if you do something versus not doing it at all. And so think about that. What are you holding out on? What are you not doing? Maybe it is out of some kind of fear. You're not really 100% certain, but the worst case scenario is that you don't do anything at all and you regret it, or you miss out on this amazing opportunity. So number 1 is they are massive action takers. Second, and this is probably truly super aligned with taking action, is that they are not afraid to fail. So Yeah, of course, they're human. They get scared, but it doesn't debilitate them. And regardless of what could happen, and they know all out, like full out, they could totally fail. They bet on themselves big time. They know 1000% they're capable of achieving what they want, and they have confidence and conviction in that, and that it'll all work out. And when they do fail, they bounce back. And here's the deal, like you cannot have success without failure. Like failing is part of the formula to success. I'm going to say that again. Failing is part of the formula to success. Like you're going to have to fall flat on your face a couple of times, learn some painful lessons to get to success. Like it is not an elevator or a straight shot up, and anybody who owns a business knows this. And so it is their innate ability to bounce back with a ton of resilience. It's like, yep, okay, I failed, so what? Let's move on and do something different, right? They're not changing the goal. They're not changing the vision, but they're just changing the process and how they get there or what they do. And I can definitely attest to this one. Yes, I am definitely an action taker and I tend to be impulsive. So I take a lot of action, which leads to failing, of course. But that's okay. I have failed so many times, and some of those failures have been like little bumps in the road, and some of them have been like really fucking big and painful and expensive. And I have like sat in my own sorrows for a little bit on those. However, what I can say and what I am proud of is that I learned from those. I chose to take the path of learning from those failures and utilizing them as a rocket fuel and a superpower to build something better, to do better in the future, and really use it as a springboard. It's really this like lovely platform that we have. And after we lick our wounds, it's really nothing more than a gift, right? As long as we choose to see it that way and have that perspective. And that really in essence is resilience, right? It's our ability to just take a beating and get right back up, right? We are fighters. The third is we surround ourselves with the right people. They surround themselves with the right people. The clients that we have who are successful, they don't fuck around. And they most definitely do not spend time with people who aren't helping elevate them. And that is in their careers. It is in their business, if they own a business, their friend circle, everything all the way around. Even in circumstances of which they're giving back, they're doing it with such high intention. So that it's this perpetual circle of always feeling elevated, right? And so think about that too, especially like in your own life. And this is hard to do. For me, it's been a lot easier to do as I've gotten older, but just being extremely protective of who I choose to let in, who I choose to be around and surround myself with, and even listen to, for that matter, And I used to make some poor choices in terms of who I hung out with. And in part, it was out of guilt. I just felt like I had to. Or it was out of like this theory of, well, I've known them for so long, or they've been a friend for so long. And okay, great. Like history is lovely, but we also evolve and grow. And sometimes just because there's history doesn't mean there needs to be a future. And tune into any of that ick or resistance or feeling that heavy, that feeling when you need to do something with someone or you have it planned and you're like praying to God they cancel or reschedule. Pay attention to who you surround yourself with that actually do make you feel really good, and schedule more dates with them. And maybe they have friends that you can also be friends with, if you're looking to expand your circle. It is hard to find people when you're an adult, especially a business owner. It's almost like we're on a unique breed. And so you might want to look into finding organizations who have other like-minded people too. I mean, that has been a huge, huge part of some of my success and really personal development. About 7 years ago, it was so nice to just sit in a room full of women who just fucking got it. And like no, we're not all besties, but man, can we have really good conversations. And a couple of years ago, I joined EO, Entrepreneurs Organization, very similar, but it's also men and women. And that has been phenomenal too. And those individuals have stretched me in ways I didn't know were possible. They have increased my capacity for thinking outside of the box, for seeing what's even possible, actually, like expanded my horizon and my goals. And like now my BHAGs, my big, hairy, audacious goals, like they're 10x what they used to be just because I've seen what someone else can do, And the people in my circle aren't afraid to call me out on my shit. And I'll tell you, the clients that we have who are successful are also surrounding themselves with people who make them uncomfortable, who love them enough to push them hard enough to prove to them what they're capable of achieving. It's like the people that we have in our circle that know what we are capable of before we know what we're capable of. And so those people are really important as well. So they just do this like unbelievably good job of it. And then the fourth is one that I learned super late in life. And the clients that we have, fortunately, they seem to have learned it a lot quicker than me. They ask for help and they hire help. They are just brilliant at knowing exactly what they know and what they're good at. And they're super good at knowing what they don't know. And what they don't know is where they immediately hire for. And this is not just in business, but personally as well. And in their, in their home lives, their private lives, whatever. Like they're constantly making sure that they're paying for speed. They want to go faster and they want to avoid frustration. And so they hire all of the people or services to eliminate that frustration so that they can continue to thrive and shine in the spaces of which light them up. And in the vein of all these things together, hiring help, especially if it's a coach, it's a mentor, they make a decision quickly on hiring a coach because they know that they want the help. They don't procrastinate. They just do it. And because they have so much conviction in themselves, they get after it. And that coach or individual or whoever it is that they're bringing on is part of that circle of surrounding themselves with the right people. And so these are four things that sound so simple, but man, they are not easy. And if you feel stuck and you're not sure why, visit these four things. Are one of them off kilter? Does one of them need a little bit of help? Have you been like stuck in indecision for a long time or debating or holding out on yourself and saying, I'm not going to do this because I'm not sure if, all of those things are typically either bullshit, imposter syndrome. And so if that is you, tune in. You are worth the effort and dig in. If we can help you in any way, shape, or form with any of this stuff, that is what we are here for, my friends. Make sure you're reaching out. And if you don't know what's wrong, you just want to talk it out, hey, sister, we're here for that too. Engage with us on social media, on Instagram. PowHERHouse Money is our handle. And until next time, my powerhouses, continue to be courageous.